How I got a car dealership to give my friend a newer car, posted by Reddit admin Dumb87. Circa 2020 January, my friend makes a stupid decision and buys a brand new car he can't afford. His insurance is like $400 a month. He makes like $10.25 an hour working as a shift supervisor at McDonald's. His car payment is $795 a month. Now at $10.25 an hour, 30 hours a week, that's a weekly income of about $300 a week, or around $1,230 a month. So yeah. So my friend came up to me for help because I used to sell cars and I know the industry pretty well. I go over his paperwork. The dealer did rip him off, but my friend is trying to find a way to get out of this mess. And ripping someone off, it isn't illegal. They did, of course, overcharge him for warranty. They gave him a higher APR, they had add-ons and so on. But none of that's illegal, and I know the only way I can get my friend out of this deal is if they did something illegal. So I look at his finance application that my friend signed. It correctly listed his income, which turned a light bulb on in my head. No bank is going to approve someone for a $795 car payment if they're only making $1,200 a month. It just doesn't make mathematical sense to do that. So I started searching through his paperwork for the finance app that the dealer submitted to the bank. You oftentimes, when you submit a finance application at a dealership, the dealership will take the hand-filled application out and then reproduce it electronically. This is pretty normal. However, on the application the dealer submitted to the bank, the dealer said my friend was a GM of the McDonald's and made $70,000. My friend had good credit, so it doesn't appear like the bank asked for a proof of income. So I go to the dealership with my friend and I tell the sales manager he's going to want to put me in touch with the GM because we're going to be unwinding my friend's deal and giving his trade-in back. The sales manager thought I was joking. The GM also thought I was joking. Then I demonstrated how his dealership finance department committed bank fraud. I showed the GM the finance app that my friend filled out, and then I showed the GM the finance app his dealership submitted to the bank and pointed at the income difference. My friend really made $14,000 a year, and the dealership claimed my friend made $70,000 a year. That's bank fraud. That's a felony. So let's keep this simple, shall we? The GM sees his dealership is in a load of crap. The proof I am presenting to him is rock solid. He knows it, I know it, and we're all on the same page. He goes, "Oh, okay, so what can we do to make this right?" I go, "Unwind the deal and get my friend his trade-in back." Unwinding the deal is basically the GM agreeing to cancel the deal and basically erasing the deal and pretending like it never happened. GM tries to avoid that, but I remain firm and remind him that we can easily take this documentation and turn his life into a living heck. He knows I'm right. My friend also needs a car to get to work the next day. The GM says he'll check into it, and he comes back and tells me that, well, unfortunately, they sold his trade-in already. I said, well, that's fine. Just unwind the deal and let's put my friend into something as good or slightly better than what he traded in for. So the GM goes, so he'll buy a car similar to his trade-in? I said, no, you'll give him a car similar to his trade-in. GM goes, it doesn't work that way. I go, well, it does when you commit bank fraud. GM is upset with me, and I remind him I'm being really nice, and this situation can totally get really ugly. Like felony level charges ugly. Like losing your franchise ugly. So yeah, this is gonna hurt, but it's gonna hurt less my way. So the GM goes, oh, all right. And he looks in his inventory and he tells me that they have a 2007 Focus with 10,000 more miles. I tell him, no, the car you give my friend needs to be the same or better than what he traded in. The GM counters, well, I'm giving him a free car. And I go, no, you took his trade-in, you sold it, you made money on that sale, you also committed a felony in the process of selling him his new car. You are now correcting that mistake. This isn't a free car for my friend, this is a you are correcting your mistake. GM insists that's what he's willing to do. I tell him that if he can't do better than that, we will go to a consumer protection attorney and have a conversation with them. My friend didn't want to go this route, but it was our plan B. So we get up. The GM says, wait, just please give me a second. The GM goes, I have a 08 Civic. It has 5,000 more miles, but it's a Civic and not a Focus. I unwind the deal on the new car and put your friend in the Civic at no extra cost. We agree. The GM has the paper drawn up, the old loan on the new car is canceled, and they take in the new car again, but because it's already titled, they'll have to sell it as used, and well, that sucks for them. and they gave my friend a better car than the one he traded in. For people asking why we didn't get a lawyer involved from the start, well, we could have done that, but courts take a long time, and this was a faster way to fix the situation. Knowledge is power. Learn everything you can, apply it, and you will be like OP and his friend and make a great way out of this deal here. Way to go, OP and friend. It is a really bad idea to make a government employee angry. Posted by Reaper0221. This one is a double government employee event, and what you should know is if you get the attention of a government employee and make them angry, they'll make your life a living heck. Sorry, this is a long one. The setup is that I was working for a local county government in the permitting department that handled drainage and floodplain enforcement. I received a complaint from a homeowner, nice guy, who lived next door to a house that was part of an incorporated village, not nice guy. Nice guy lived in an unincorporated portion of the county, and hence the call to me as an agent of the county. I drove out to the site and to investigate and discovered some interesting facts. The permitting agent for the village allowed the incorporated homeowner to fill his lot, affecting the drainage, which caused the unincorporated lot to flood every time there was anything more than light rain. Nice guy indicated that there was some tension between him and not nice guy, and part of the issue was that nice guy and his partner were a gay couple. This ran up a red flag for me, but in trying to be impartial, I took the information and some photos for the file and indicated that I would contact the village to find a resolution. I wrote a letter and then called the village inspector, Jackwagon, to discuss. I was told by Jackwagon that the village could do as it pleased and that I could do nothing to stop Not Nice Guy from doing as they pleased, as it was approved by the village. There was then a comment about those type of people, the gay couple, making complaints just to cause trouble. I was now on the case, and it was time to make sure everything done on the incorporated lot was 100% legal. At this point, the game certainly was now on, because if there's one thing that grinds my gears, it's bullying. I went back out and spoke to Nice Guy to let them know what I was up to, and also that I was not going to let this slide. I then started investigating the elevations on the two lots and what fill had been placed on the incorporated lot. The Not Nice Guy came out and started getting belligerent about my presence and the ongoing investigation. He incorrectly stated that I did not have jurisdiction over his lot and that he would be calling the police. I patiently listened and then pulled out my two-way radio and requested that a home-based dispatch both a village and a county police unit to the location. I then indicated that since there was a regulatory floodplain on his lot, I did in fact have jurisdiction and that I would be exercising my right to determine the impact of his fill activities upon that floodplain. Both of the police units showed up and I let them know what was going on. They were both appropriately agitated to have to waste their time and let Not Nice Guy know that I was within my authority to proceed with the investigation. A little while later, while I was measuring things, Jackwagon showed up. He started berating me about harassing the village resident and threatening to call my boss and filing a complaint and so forth. I invited him to do so, quoting which parts of the code he should indicate that I was violating. I was using marking paint to show the limits of the floodplain for the photos for the file, and what do you know? Jackwagon's shoe got painted when he tried to stop me. Obviously, he was even more angry, as was the homeowner due to the very bright orange paint in the grass in his yard. I pointed out that I had done the same on the neighboring lots, but they just kept complaining. It was actually marking chalk that comes off pretty easily. Interestingly, I found two really wrong things on Not Nice Guy's lot. Number 1, there was fill placed in the floodplain, and 2, a garden shed was built on the fill and partially within the floodplain. Both are a big no-no and are actually against federal law. So, the course of action had 2 parts. 1, make the incorporated homeowner remove the fill and the shed from the floodplain, and 2, let Nice Guy place fill in their lot outside of the floodplain to counteract the fill remaining in Not Nice Guy's lot outside of the floodplain. I also told Nice Guy that it would be a good idea to run a field tile on their side to drain the water that would inevitably pond up between the 2 lots when it rained. Predictably, Not Nice Guy and Jackwagon got super angry when I sent the letter out that there were violations that either had to be corrected, which is remove the fill in the shed, or apply for a revision of the floodplain with the Army Corps of Engineers. Good luck with that. This then led to a meeting at the county office with Not Nice Guy, Jackwagon, my supervisor, and myself. Quickly, things went to 11, and there was yelling by Jackwagon about abuse of power and so on. The department head came to the conference room and told them both they were wrong and that they should leave peacefully and comply, or face the consequences, which were fines. The best part was that Not Nice Guy had to apply for a permit, and guess who was the one to review and approve it? That's right, yours truly. Now, I was following the letter of the law, but you have to know that poor government workers are underpaid and overworked. Strangely, the permit for Nice Guy was almost immediately approved, while Not Nice Guy had to have a very thorough review to ensure it was correct. You could make a case that I was abusing my power, but I can assure you that the timing for their review was well within acceptable limits. Also, how could I be held to account that they misfiled 3 times before they finally got it right? Generally, if you behaved like a civil human and came to the office, we would help you get things done properly so the permit would go through first time. But Not Nice Guy decided he could do it all on his own, so it took him 3 tries. Had he come to the office, I would have given him the same service as others, but he decided to take the hard route, and therefore I didn't give a single inch when it came to the submission being perfectly correct. Ultimately, the situation was resolved, but it took a lot more effort than it should have. Moral of the story: don't be an entitled homophobic a-hole. I swear this ProRevenge is like malicious compliance too, because he followed the book on his end and the other guy just made it harder on himself. OP wins. What do you think? Greedy owner tries to rip off my friend, ends up paying him double. By satisfaction call 1572. My first job out of college was for a local TV station. The owner was, and still is, the worst human being I've ever met. This guy has money, but he will cheat and lie anything to get out of paying his bills. When I started working there, the owner had just signed a contract with DirecTV to become a part of their broadcasting package. Since they were at the time purely a local TV station, this meant that we had about 2 months to upgrade our system so that we can start broadcasting to DirecTV customers in the entire Bay Area. Every day that we failed to do this past the deadline means that the owner would suffer a penalty per the contract. Not knowing about how any of this works, the owner hired a friend of mine to come in as a freelance consultant. My friend told him that for about $15,000 USD, he can get a system that will automate the entire process, which, of course, the guy didn't want to pay. He tasked my friend with finding a cheaper way, around half, and to pay for all of the hardware up front and get reimbursed later. Knowing what a piece of crap this guy is, I warned my friend not to front the money because he wouldn't get paid back. The guy just smiled and said, "Watch me." So he made it work, we went on live on schedule, and the owner was happy. Then my friend went in and presented the guy with a bill. Immediately, the usual excuses start. "Oh, I'm a little short this month. Can I pay you later?" And so blah, 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 blah. Then my friend pulls out the trump card. Not only did my friend threaten to take all the equipment back and take the station off the air, he reveals that in order to get the uplink working for cheap, someone had to come in every day and code the broadcast manually. It's not a terribly complicated procedure, takes like less than 5 minutes, but of course, no one else at the station knows how to do it but him. So either the owner can pay him what he's owed plus $2,000 a month consulting fee, or the station goes dark and he starts paying the penalty to DirecTV. This effort paid fast. So instead of $15,000, he ended up shelling out more than double that amount as my friend lapped up his $2,000 a month fee for close to a year before he felt bad and finally taught someone there how to do it. Moral of the story: only thinking about short-term gain will always cost you more in the long run. You know what? I would be so curious to see this guy's 401k or retirement plan, because if he can't hold on a deal in this kind of short term, I'm very curious to see how he's planning for his future. Like, what do you think he's doing? Would you like to see it too? Brother ruined my wedding by proposing, so I ruined his proposal. Posted by Neitherglove4355. I, 35-year-old male, have a younger brother, Todd, who's 29, who had a complicated birth and had to stay a month in the ICU, and because of that, my parents have always doted on him and almost denied him nothing, even if it was to the detriment of my sister Abby, who's 32, and I. My brother drinks in on the attention, and he has on more than one occasion made himself the center of attention at either my sister's, or a cousin's special event. Because of this, Abby and I have a strained relationship with Todd and our parents. Unfortunately, Todd met and fell in love with Lucy, who's 24, who announced her own pregnancy at the baby shower my mom held for Abby. When I proposed to my wife, Michelle, who's 30, I just wanted to elope, but she really wanted her family to be there, so I invited my family out of obligation. While our best man, Jim, 35, noticed a receipt from a jewelry store slipped out of Todd's pocket. Jim confronted Todd about this, which led to an argument. Jim told me everything, and I told Todd that he was no longer going to be a groomsman because I knew he was going to propose at my wedding. Todd cried to our parents, which led to a blowout. In my parents' eyes, since Todd never admitted that he was going to propose to Lucy at my wedding, I was unfairly judging him. I refused and brought up Todd's past behavior. My parents couldn't refute this and got Todd to agree to not try anything at my wedding. This wasn't enough to convince me to let him be a groomsman, but I warned him that if, as a guest, he'd try anything, I would make him regret it. Fast forward to the wedding, and surprise, surprise, Todd walked over to Lucy and proposed to her during Michelle's father-daughter dance, and did it in a way so that everyone would notice. Cue my revenge. Jim and I had hired a woman to pretend to be Todd's side piece, who cornered Todd and Lucy and claimed that she was pregnant with his baby. Todd denied this, but when she called his phone, I gave her his number and messed with Todd's phone to incriminate him. It didn't look good. Lucy threw the ring back at Todd and left in tears. When Todd saw the smile on my face, he knew that it was me, and I didn't respond to a single call or text from him or my parents until after the honeymoon. Lucy has thrown Todd's stuff out and has been denying access to their kid. Todd is furious and demanding that I clear his name. I sent him a text saying that I had no idea what he was talking about, as well as a screenshot of a bill for the wedding, and gave a vague message demanding reimbursement for half the wedding cost. Michelle knew the whole time what I was planning and gave me the green light after Todd ruined her moment with her dad. So I felt pretty good, but now even Abby thinks I went too far. Holy cow, I mean, I gotta be honest with you here. That is a pretty borderline pro-revenge. Like, it's kind of dirty. Like, it got revenge on him, but oh man, at what cost? That was brutal. What do you think? This boss gets busted for stealing $10,000 Super Bowl tickets and loses a huge client. Click on the video on your screen to watch that now and subscribe for more stories.